could not prove it. So she started getting a whole bunch of piercings back, but she just could not.
Proved himself to be the man who destroyed both women. Proved him.
So this is where everything started getting speculated. Carol would constantly check Brene, like, hey girl, like you put a bra on, or tell her about like her shorts being too short, and Brene basically would see no issue with it. And Akira's main thing was the fact that her children are around. Like, there's kids around and you have your titties just out and exposed and your booty hanging out of your shorts. Like, you're not supposed to be dressed like that around children. So fast forward, one day, Brene basically comes up with this big lie saying that Devin is being domestic towards her and that she doesn't feel comfortable living with Devin and etc. etc. So Brene basically begs Akira and Tim for a place to stay. And Tim is like, yeah, like we might as well let her stay. Like she said she's having problems at home and in her marriage. And so Akira went along with it, and Akira said that things got extremely weird the moment she moved into their home. Akira started finding random teeth around the house. She said that basically she would go to sleep early some nights and she'll go to sleep at like 8 p.m., wake back up at 11 p.m. and notice Tim's not in the bed, and she'll go out and check and see where he's at, and he would be in the den with the door closed, meaning they were being actual in their home while Akira was asleep, and this was proven. So Akira started confronting Tim, her husband, about what was going on. Tim gaslit her and said, oh, it's nothing going on. She was known as a 304 in her high school, saying that she's sloppy, she nasty, she dirty, she lazy. Well, this, that, and the third. That's how she even got with Devin. Like, basically gaslit the fuck out of her. And she said she believed him because at the time it was like, anything my husband says, I'm going to believe. That's the type of woman she was. Granted, when Brene was staying with them, she would fix Tim's plate first, would sit with Tim, would literally, everything's Tim. And then also, she was asked on many occasions to leave their home. She said no. She told Akira, no, Tim wants me here. So those who are confused on the Brene case, let me break it down for y'all. Basically, Brene married her crush's cousin to get closer to her. So those who are confused on the Brene case, let me break it down for y'all. Basically, Brene married her crush's cousin to get closer to her crush. Her crush name is Tim. Her husband name was Devin. Akira was Tim's wife. Okay, y'all got that? They all grew up together. They went to high school together. Now, Brene also has a twin sister named Corinne, and she also plays a role in this situation. Track it back to high school. Basically, Brene dated Tim back when they were really, really young. Mind y'all, Tim was Brene's first love. Tim's family never liked Brene, so Tim ended up breaking it off with Brene. Now, circling back to the twin sister Corinne. Corinne and Brene fell out and had a lot of beef in high school because Corinne basically slept with Tim after Brene and Tim broke up. Basically, Brene was a 304. And so Tim ended up putting his cousin Devin on Brene because Brene was going and Devin was a virgin and he wanted to lose his V. Before everyone graduated, Akira and Tim ended up getting together, and Akira was basically Tim's new girlfriend. Granted, Brene, Devin, they don't hang out with Akira. They don't really know Akira like that. She's just the new girlfriend. Tim went off to play college football on a scholarship while Akira basically held the relationship down. Not too long after, Akira ends up getting pregnant and they end up getting married in 2018. Akira dropped out of school to be a wife, a mother, while Tim pursued his dreams of being an NFL player. Akira was working two jobs trying to support the family financially. Fast forward to 2021, Devin and Brene ends up getting married. This is how I met Devin and Brene because they were a TikTok couple actually. So mind y'all, Brene and Devin is this God-fearing married couple. They're very Christian, go to church, listen to music, do couples content, all of that. So randomly they started hanging out with Tim and Akira, and they started doing like group activities, double dates, etc. Mind you, Brene was known to be Akira and Tim's kids' aunt. Brene was Auntie Brene and Devin was Uncle Devin. Renee started speculating that her sister Corinne started sneaking around with Tim again, and this is when Akira was pregnant with her second child. Things started getting weird because every time they would link up to do couple stuff, Renee would be wearing inappropriate clothes, like her booty cheeks would be hanging out, her titties, she would have no bra on, like things were just very inappropriate, and she would be extremely friendly with Tim. So this is where everything started getting speculated. Carol would constantly check Brene, like, hey girl, like, he put a bra on, or tell her about like her shorts being too short, and Brene basically would see no issue with it. And Akira's main thing was the fact that her children are around. Like, there's kids around and you have your titties just out and exposed and your booty hanging out of your shorts. Like, you're not supposed to be dressed like that around children. So fast forward, one day, Brene basically comes up with this big lie saying that Devin is being domestic towards her and that she doesn't feel comfortable living with Devin and etc. etc. So Brene basically begs Akira and Tim for a place to stay. And Tim is like, yeah, like we might as well let her stay. Like she said she's having problems at home and in her marriage. And so Akira went along with it, and Akira said that things got extremely weird the moment she moved into their home. Akira started finding random teeth around the house. She said that basically she would go to sleep early some nights and she would sleep at like 8 p.m., wake back up at 11 p.m. and notice Tim's not in the bed, and she'll go out and check and see where he's at, and he would be in the den with the door closed, meaning they were being actual in their home while Akira was asleep, and this was proven. So Akira started confronting Tim, her husband, about what was going on. Tim gaslit her and said, oh, it's nothing going on. She was known as a 304 in her high school, saying that she's sloppy, she nasty, she dirty, she lazy, well, this, that, and the third. That's how she even got with Devin, like basically gaslit the fuck out of her. And she said she believed him because at the time it was like, anything my husband says, I'm going to believe. That's the type of woman she was. Granted, when Brene was staying with them, she would fix Tim's plate first, would sit with Tim, would literally, everything's Tim. And then also, she was asked on many occasions to leave their home. She said no. She told Akira, no, Tim wants me here. And so Akira said she felt like she had no one to speak to about this because she would tell her husband would gaslight her, and she just felt like something sneaky was going on behind her back, but she just could not prove it. So she started getting a whole bunch of piercings. And so one day she goes around her family and they're like, why do you have so many piercings? And then she just busts out and just tells everything. And so her grandmother was like, oh no, I'll be over there. Because one thing about it, Akira is not confrontational. She said she's not an aggressor and that this is not something that she does. So the grandmother goes over to Akira's house. The grandmother said the house was so trashed where Brene was staying at. She was staying in the den. They said that it was pop bottles, chip bottles. It was just so filthy, disgusting, and nasty. That grandmother asked Brene, and not didn't even ask, told Brene, you need to leave. And Brene told her, no, Tim wants me here. So she ended up getting into an argument with her grandmother and ends up pushing her grandmother. Brene eventually goes home and tells her husband, Devin, that she's in love with Tim and that she wants to be with Tim. And Devin basically says, well, if that's what you want to do, prove it. Invite him over here. And so she did exactly that and slept with Tim in their home, y'all. In their home. Devin ended up divorcing her after that. Akira ends up finding out because Devin ends up hitting Akira up and telling Akira what he knew. And so she ended up getting her piece on the whole entire situation. And that's why we're here today, y'all. And now y'all just got to follow from here on out because I told y'all the entire backstory. Sorry if I butchered some parts, but this is literally.
All right. How I feel about her keeping the want to keep the last name? That's her decision. I don't feel any type of way towards it. To be completely with you, that's perfectly fine. She's gonna be the Miss Montague, and I'm gonna be the Mrs. Montague. So honestly, it really doesn't matter to me. For one, for two, the reasoning behind it just doesn't make sense to me because she's gonna forever be the mom of the babies, of the kiddos. So like honestly, I don't know. For me, it just doesn't make sense. I seen the lives, I seen the screen recordings of the live, and it's just crazy to me because I'm not gonna keep no man last name who put me through hell. Personally, whether we have kids or not, just my opinion. I'm not gonna do that. But it's a difference if my goal or her goal was to never get married again. You know what I'm saying? Keep the last name cool, but to get married and to hyphenate it under the new man's last name is absurd to me. So I don't know. So yeah, I'll feel about it because I'm not gonna go be married. I already got some boyfriend. All right. How I feel about her keeping the want to keep the last name? That's.
Many celebrities have reacted to the Brene Kennard story. First up, Rihanna said, "What did I just read?" Next, Drake said, "Yo, this is so crazy." Next, Kanye West said, "Who even cares?" And finally, Katy Perry said, "This one really got to me." The social media influencer, who has over 3 million followers on TikTok, was taken in on Tuesday following a complaint made by Akira Montauk. Akira, who lives in Durham, claimed Brene had been posting about her online and showing up at places that do not pertain to her. According to the warrant, Brene allegedly used electronic devices to cause emotional stress to the victim. The warrant says she posted messages on platforms like Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. Brene was taken in, but later released. This isn't the first time the two have fallen out. Earlier this year, Akira made a suit against Brene, claiming she had an affair with her husband, Timothy Montauk. The two women were once friends, connected through Brene's husband, Devin Mayo, who is Timothy's cousin. But since then, their relationship has completely fallen apart, turning into one of the most talked about influencer scandals in North Carolina. A Durham official noted that an officer was dispatched back in September after Akira accused Brene of going against a restraining order. The dispute has only gotten more intense since then, with both sides sharing cryptic posts online that fans believe are directed at each other. Brene, known for her lifestyle videos, makeup tutorials, and food reviews, has not publicly commented since her arrest, but followers have been split between those defending her and others saying that the situation has gone too far. But before you go, I want to...
Make me the flame, look at you. Make me the flame, look.
When y'all gonna realize that y'all just don't do enough? Just say that you don't fit in that lifestyle of the extra jewelry, extra nails, extra, 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 extra. Like, you have your preference, and I.
Just like that, Brene has turned into Tasha K. Baby, she spread her arms and opened her charms for the wrong man, and now she has been ordered to pay Akira $1.5 million plus $250,000 in damages. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. Now, as we all know, Akira filed a alienation of affection lawsuit against Brene, the content creator, saying that she stole her man. during the trial. Akira presented all kind of evidence, text messages, videos, testimony to show that everything was fine. There were some struggles in their marriage, but everything was okay until Brene sugarfooted her way into their life and started living with them and basically took her man and was messing with her man under her own roof and was asking her kid to get her some wipes after they had did the oochie coochie la 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 and harassing her online and all of the things. Brene shook a tail feather on down there to that courtroom and tried to represent herself after she lost 2 attorneys. And she lost this lawsuit bigly. I'm telling you, bigly, baby. 1.5 million. Now, according to the bank documentation that she had to submit, she makes around $11,000 a month. It's still gonna take you a long time to come up with that, baby. I'm telling you, Akira gonna be like Cardi B. She's gonna be subpoenaing Google. She gonna be getting that check. She gonna subpoena Facebook. She gonna get that check. She gonna subpoena Snapchat. She gonna get that check. She gonna subpoena TikTok. She gonna get that check. Every single thing that Brene is going to be earning is going to go into Akira's pockets. And Brene, she asked for that. She asked for that. She lives in a state where you can file a lawsuit for alienation of affection, and she was so sloppy with her affair that Akira was able to approve what she did, lock, stock, and barrel. That baby, and I'm telling you, she didn't even hire a damn lawyer. She tried to, but she lost the lawyers. So, baby, even if you try to appeal this, it's gonna cost you more money to appeal it than it is to pay it, baby. I don't know what you're gonna do. I heard she was a sub before she, you know what I'm saying, start the content creation. Maybe she can do both, but I got a feeling that Brene is literally going to be like Sansaray. Y'all remember that content creator Sansaray that faked her own, taking herself out the game? She was a big YouTuber, and then they found out all the lies she was saying, and then she ended up being blackballed. That woman still ain't made her way back up. I think that's what's going to happen to Brene, and I think that her relationship with Tim is going to go by the wayside because me personally, I think that Tim is in it for the money. But I want to know what you all think. Like I said, according to those beautiful content creators that are in the room, they said that the jury ordered Brene to pay Akira $1.5 million.
Word on the street, Brene and Tim got into it at Chipotle last night. Apparently they was going back and forth. Tim was telling her she should have got an attorney. She was telling him she did not need one. They was going back and forth about the money. Y'all, that wasn't even 24 hours. And they now beefing allegedly about money. And him telling her she should have got an attorney. And them basically going back and forth saying, oh no, it's your fault you didn't get an attorney. And her trying to say, I didn't need an attorney. I didn't need this. I didn't need that. I said 6 months in my last video before I give them 6 months before they break up. But I give it that first payment being deducted out of Brene's funds. Once that money get deducted from Brene's funds and go into Kara's account, she gonna be mad as hell. Word on the street,